constitutional body does not excuse you from being accountable to the South African population. It does not excuse you from being accountable and responsible to South African people. So we must be able to really deal with this issue, Chair, because it still continues 2-3 months after we had this issue being raised in this portfolio committee. We need to understand why people don't attend meetings. And I think, there's definitely a causal link between non-attendance of meetings and what we've been seeing happening with the CGE in the past couple of months. So, Chair, through you, can we really just try to put this issue to bed and understand why people are not honoring the commitments that they signed up for, and really, really ruining the brand of CGE, because they are really great people who are qualified, who are really invested in the issues that the CGE deals with. And I think it's really horrible now that some individuals are going to paint the entire CGE with, the same brush when that is not the case. And it's unfortunate that people watching now this particular issue are going to have that view of the CGE because of 1, 2, 3 individuals who choose to really taint the image of the CGE at a time when we don't need institutions like the CGE to be tainted. So that's my input, Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mpiti. Honorable Mamsonti.
Thank you, Chairperson. Morning, members and the CGE. Umbuzo wami, Chairperson, umncane. I'm using the one gadget, the phone. So there is a call just receiving now, but I cut it off. Chairperson, my question is, uCGE kwabonakala ukuthi akazimiselanga ukusebenza andicabanga ukuthi sonke silapha njena sizikhomithile kumsebenzi, sebenzela isizwe sonke siphela, sebenzela abantu. So ke ngoku my question is, mina umuntu lo xa engasebenzi fanele uba kenziwe ntoni ngaye, because mandicabanga ukuthi le mali engasebenzi nje lo muntu uyarhola at the same time each and every month. Mali leyo ebekufanele ukuthi yenza umsebenzi ofanelekileyo xa yena engafuni ukusebenza. And then number 2, bakhona abantu abawufunayo umsebenzi. Akunamuntu ozohlala nje ayenza ama-apologies up to engafuni ukusebenza. So my question is that ukuthi umuntu lo ongafuni ukusebenza kwenziwa njani ngaye, kwenziwa ntoni ngaye umuntu onjalo, because kufuneka kusetyenziwe, hayi ukuhlala and then utye imali karhulumente just for nothing. Inkosi Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Sonti. I think, is there any other hand? It's okay. Over to you, Chair and Deputy Chair. I'm saying Chair and Deputy Chair because you are the leadership of CGE. May you please respond?
Good morning, Chairperson. Good morning, honorable members. I'm not sure whether I'm audible, Chair.
Yes, I can hear you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Chair, allow me to start with the explanation around the issue of long-standing apology, and explain to members what has been articulated and explained to the commission, to the plenary, in terms of the long-standing apology. I think, Chair, in terms of the submission that was made, the plenary and through the CGE leadership, we requested a further explanation in terms of the meaning of a long-standing discussion. And looking at the email communication that was sent back and forth, Chair, I think when we received the extended apology or long-standing apology.
Can you show your face, Chair?
Oh, yes, let me do that quickly. Sorry. I don't have a very good picture this morning, Chair, I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you.
I'll switch it off. Thank you. Chair, we received an email that explains, because we also wanted to find out what it means, Chair. And the email that came from the commissioner in question was sent to myself and the rest of the commission on the 20th of October, Chair, because we requested that if we can have a detailed information of what is meant by a long-standing apology and what will it affect in terms of discharging commissioners' duties and responsibilities. So we received this email, Chair, on the 20th of October, and it basically explains in briefly that the commitment to various committees and academic responsibilities for the rest of the financial year, in fact, for the rest of the year, is affecting the work of the commission, and it limits the participation within CGE work. I think the explanation provided, Chair, was that there was time distributed by the part-time commissioner. In fact, there was an explanation that the commissioner is a part-time commissioner, and that the work that is distributed between the work of the commission as well as the work of the university, which is always split, is becoming affected. I think the work towards the commission is affected because of the following reasons. The reasons given, Chair, was that there was academic responsibilities that were intensified during the month of October, November, and finishing in December. And these academic activities, Chair, were straddling between the work that is provided through lecturing assigned to 15 students, and also the work that is looking at consultations with students for their assignments and all of that, including work, marking. So a deadline of the end of the year, Chair, was to say that they will be working extensively, consulting, marking papers and finishing and finalizing the projects at the university for the end of this year. And I think there was also a further extensive explanation in terms of the projects that will still be continued within CGE in terms of providing work. But I think what was explained, Chair, was affecting some attendance to some of the meetings, including the committee, and also some of the meetings. I think we have seen in the past meetings, there were intermittent attendance by the commissioner to these meetings, but not fully at times. So I think that's that, Chair. We have the evidence in front of us to actually say that we did ask for clarification by the commissioner and what aspects of the work will be affected by the the work or the intensive work at the university that the commissioner is actually involved and engaged with. So we have that information, Chair. And again, I did check with the commissioner again to say that if they can avail themselves at the portfolio committee, and I think I was given an information to say that the long standing apology affects the date of today, Chair. Thank you very much. I think that's why the apology was provided yesterday. Thank you, Chair. And I would like to hand over to Deputy Chair.
Deputy Chair.
Thanks. Greetings, honorable members, and greetings to colleagues who are here. I think the issue Commissioner Matabula has dealt with in terms of what we have been presented from the side of the commissioner affected.
In fact, Deputy Chair, in fact, what we want to get is that this is how you deal with all your part-time commissioners.
I had a slight challenge.
The reason I'm asking is that chairperson is that you must remember that section 185 subsection 5 clearly states that the CGE is accountable to the NA, which is National Assembly, and that it must report to the National Assembly on its performance. And then, and according to NA Rule 227, directs the Portfolio Committee to deal with bills and other matters falling within its portfolio as are referred to it in terms of the Constitution, legislation, rules, joint rules, or by resolution of the National Assembly. When I say by resolution of the National Assembly, it means because you are, you were interviewed by National Assembly, recommended by National Assembly to the President to appoint commissioners. So it is a matter of concern to us on how is your performance. As we do oversight according to the rules of Parliament. You know, I thought that it's important that today maybe I need to read the legislation on why are you accounting to Parliament? What is your constitutional mandate? Because you see, when we do oversight and monitor the work that you're doing in CGE, it's like it's being distorted. So we have taken it upon ourselves as the Portfolio Committee that I think we're going to stick strictly to your constitutional mandate and to the rules of Parliament. That's why we're asking, because after you, Deputy Chair, I would want other part-time commissioners, Mulik Mokhale, Advocate Mokhale, and Commissioner Gertrude, and just to tell us on this is how they work as part-time commissioners. You can continue, Deputy Chair.
Thanks, Chair. I was gonna apologize because I had a slight technical issue when I was signing in, but I think I got the last end of the discussion when Honorable Mpiti and Honorable Sondi came in. But I want to just point the commissioners to the commissioner's handbook. The commissioner handbook outlines how we are governed in terms of attendance of meetings, and there's a section there that covers that commissioners, the expectations of commissioners, the performance of the function of commissioners, and what is required of the commissioners. Where the point that the honourable members are picked up are asking about is where there is a consistent inability to attend meetings. Where the handbook points us to it, I'll read it verbatim. It says where there are 3 or more consecutive meetings not attended by any commissioner, this is the section I'm reading is 514, the chairperson may take the appropriate action in the circumstances which may include, and then it talks to the recommendations in that particular instance. So there is a guideline or a framework to dealing with this, honourable members. I don't want to say that the non-attendance of meetings is something that is not necessarily planned for. It may occur, and then the instances where the written explanation has been provided, which is section 5.5, in instances where chairperson has requested written explanation, after considering the explanation, the chairperson may approach the National Assembly to do what is necessary. So there are guidelines, and I think maybe chairperson maybe can also elaborate here if that is a deemed necessity. I unfortunately don't have the authority and the functions to do that, but I do know that we do advise in line with the constraints and the framework of the governance framework. And so that is then when that kicks in, honorable members. But I do take seriously the point that says it's looking at the performance of commissioners and the ability for all commissioners, part-time and full-time, to meet their functions, to perform in line with the National Assembly expectations when we're appointed. And in the event that commissioners are unable to, for capacity or any other reason, there are frameworks that give us an ability to deal with that and that eventuality. So I think that the honourable members should be appraised of that person as well in the context of what we're dealing with in this instance. And apologies for the technicality I experienced when I entered, but I think I've got the last swing of the discussion. Thank you, members.
Commissioner Mokhale, how do you work as part-time commissioners? Remember, there is a finding from the Auditor General that part-time commissioners are paid without supporting documents. How do you work? Commissioner Mokhale?
Thank you, Chair. Chair, we work very well as part-time commissioners, and I would like to this committee that in fact, some of the part-time commissioners, myself, Commissioner Mazibuku, Commissioner Mutupi, and Commissioner Rakolote, we work far more than some of the full-time commissioners. That's how hard we work. So we have prioritized CGE following, number one, the ad hoc committee that gets set up, where we are asked, at least I was asked, will I be available now? And that was part of the considerations when the decisions were made, that I have said I will be available, I will set aside time to do that. Secondly, if one is not available, it also defeats the purpose of why the Act actually said, let us have part-time commissioners. As part of some of the work that I did many years ago, including when we were working around this Act and many others as activists, the vision was that part-time commissioners would be those people who would be practitioners, academics, and all of those who would be able to come in from time to time, but set aside a specific time to enhance the work of the CGE, strengthen some of the areas of expertise that they would be bringing with them from wherever a profession they would be coming from, be it civil society or whatever. So the part-time commissioners are not necessarily supposed to be, I will attend to CGE if I have time. It's supposed to be, I have to attend to the CGE and I have to make time. Otherwise, you cannot make yourself available. So that was my understanding. And this was emphasized when I was interviewed. But I also want to clarify that the issue of Commissioner Day, I'm not sure if it was about the exams. The exams was to us, but to the portfolio committee, I thought it was something else, because the exams was to us saying, I cannot make it, I am busy. So I don't know, I would like the chairperson to clarify that, because I thought it was two things, which was about the exams and saying, can I be excused at the CGE during this period? And then the portfolio committee had been something that was expressed a long time ago. So I just want clarity on that, just in case I'm misrepresenting things. But we do work, we work a lot, we work hard, we make ourselves available. I know for sure I can vouch for myself and Mazibuko, who are on the ground with for Commissioner Mutupi and Mazibuko and myself, who are on the ground. No month passes without us doing something that adds value to the CGE. And Commissioner Rakowa, thanks.
Commissioner Gertrude.
Thanks, Honorable Chair, and good morning to the Chair and honorable members. Chair, I think Commissioner Mohali has responded well. We do avail ourselves for the work of the Commission. And I am sure Commissioner Mohali was even more relevant because she also has a full-time employment, unlike myself and Commissioner Mazibuko, who have more time for the CGE because we do not have other, we do not have full-time employment. So we are readily available every day of the month. So with Commissioner Mohali, it's a well, her response suffices because she also has a full-time employment. But all of us as commissioners, Chair, I want to believe personally that it's upon us to ensure that we avail ourselves for the work of the CGE, and in particular for meetings like this one where we do not have to attend like every day or even every week or month. That's all I can say, Chair. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Gertrude. I have asked you these questions because I wanted members to hear what you said during the interview when we were interviewing you, asking you about whether you'll be able to serve as commissioners for CGE or whatever. So now I'm happy that you even reminded me on the questions that we asked you during those interviews, because I was chairing that panel, the ad hoc committee that was interviewing all of you. I see the hand of the chair before I go to honorable members. Chairperson.
Chair, let me agree with my colleagues, Chair, in terms of the understanding and the workings of the commissioners. However, Chair, I just want to, in further clarifying our understanding as well, and how we operationalize. Chair, you would know, and honorable members, that Chapter 9 institutions are constituted differently. And there are Chapter 9 institutions such as CGE that have both part-time and full-time commissioners. If you look at the Commissioner's Handbook, Honorable Chair, Section 5.1 of the handbook, it provides that part-time commissioners are bound to work a maximum of 100 hours a month. And I'm reading this verbatim as well. And this works out at about 2 days a week. And Commissioner Mohali is quite right to say that the initial understanding was that part-time commissioners would be commissioners with expertise that the commission or the CGE or any Chapter 9 institution would need. And from time to time, commissioners were invited to apply and appointed on the basis of the expertise that they can share and be deployed in the commission to actually use those expertise for the benefit of not only the commission, but also for the benefit of the people we serve out there. So that's what I wanted to share, Chair, to say that, yes, there is commitment to part-time commissioners. And I think we have submitted part-time commissioners' reports to Parliament to demonstrate the work and the commitment that they do. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable members, do you understand what is a standing apology? Honorable Masiko.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. For me, it goes back to what Commissioner Mutupi had raised around the issue of it defeating the purpose if you are a part-time commissioner, and also during the part-time services that you should be providing, you are not available. So I think it does become a problem, Chairperson, but one would like to wish to know, in terms of the work now of the commission, has the commission assessed the availability of the said commissioner in terms of performing her responsibilities, and what is an assessment that they can give in terms of the commission work now, not even attending to portfolio committee meetings, but the actual work that has been assigned to the commissioner, and have they made an assessment of that work, given the apologies or the standing apology that the commissioner has given? Thank you very much, Honorable Chair.
Honorable Sharif.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, so I totally understand the rationale behind part-time commissioners and the many skills that part-time commissioners do bring to the CGE, which is definitely needed, especially in the climate that we find ourselves, where there's just so much violence that women are facing. So the more skills that we have, it absolutely makes sense to input that into the CGE. But it becomes a problem because if I think of working 2 days a week at the CGE, where so much needs to be done, and as other honorable members have said, we have seen issues at the CGE in the last couple of months, and the Auditor General spoke about the leadership problem that they found at CGE. It makes me wonder how much 2 days can actually benefit an organization in order to make it the strongest, most professional, easy working, flowing through organization that they can be. So I think there's perhaps maybe as the committee, we need to, and perhaps as a CGE, need to look at how do we weigh between the two? How do we weigh the efficiency and the effectiveness of an organization versus the amount of skills and the rationale behind part-time commissioners coming and how it works. And of course, we'll go through some of the issues CGE is facing, which I think we must always think back that perhaps structurally this could be where the gap is in the CGE. Chair, I'd also like to know how many meetings must they attend in order to meet the specific target, because said commissioner has not attended quite a few of meetings, and there are other commissioners, that of course we understand, we're not unreasonable people. If you can't make a meeting and something comes up, you can't make the meeting. But if there's a consistent, sort of trend that we are noticing as committee, then it's something that really needs to be looked at. And this goes for anybody, including us as honorable members. If there's a trend that we do not attend committee meetings, then we need to do something about it, because that means that we are not fully engaged, accountable, and speaking about the work that we're doing, because it's not just the committee, right? As Honorable Mpiti said, South Africans watch this, and South Africans see what we are doing in their best interest. So that's something that I would need to answer. I'm always a little bit worried and concerned about long-standing leave, because it doesn't really give an end date. And so what does that mean, and what is the process moving forward? And I would like perhaps the CGE to maybe just be straightforward with us, and what is the way forward? What are you doing as the organization to ensure consistency from commissioners, and more than just quarterly reports? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Masiko and Honorable Sharif. I think, honorable members, we have done justice to our work in terms of assessing the performance of commissioners of CGE, and we have diagnosed where the problem is. And now we need to get the remedy on how does CGE, the commissioners, correct the situation in terms of attendance of and performance of commissioners. Over to you, Chair, Deputy Chair.
Thank you, Chairperson. If I may just quickly come in. I think Honorable Masiko was quite correct to say that there should be an assessment of the Commissioner's performance in this regard. And I want to say that since the apology was submitted during the month of October, we will look at the performance of the Commissioner for the next 3 months. And Honorable Sharif, I think in terms of time frames, clarity was required. And I think we were given the end of the year, which is December, for this long-standing, because we also wanted to understand what it means. What is this long-standing? Where does it starts and ends? So during the next 3 months, we will assess. We will look at the engagements, the performance of the commissioner and the commissioners, just beyond just reports. I think we will constantly look at what the commissioner has been engaged on. I think secondly, Chair, we still have an opportunity. I know that the handbook has been finalized, but I think such gaps, Chair, are some of the things that we need to go back and articulate clearly in our handbook, because we use our handbook as our policy. We use the handbook as our Bible. We use our handbook as the guideline for commissioners' conduct, not only conduct, but also what commissioners are expected to do in terms of the role, the responsibilities, as well as performance. So I think this is where we need to pick up. I listened carefully to what Honorable Sharif was saying, to say, you know, those 100 hours, the 2 hours, what does it translate into? And I know that, you know, given the situation currently, commissioners are perhaps even putting more than that. In fact, not even perhaps. Commissioners are putting more than 2 hours. How do we, you know, make sure that we go back to the handbook and really try and ratify such things that that we had in the previous handbook? Thank you very much, Chair. I would like to pause here.
Deputy Chair.
Thanks, Chair. This is a very complex one, because we have a regulation or a delegation of authority that encompasses the action of when sanctions or breaches or improvements are taken. It's very clear that the delegation we can recommend, and I think what the members are saying is to say, one, how do you monitor performance? I think that's just a general question. And two, in instances where non-performance is not satisfactory, or the performance not satisfactory, what is then the action taken? The question then becomes, is the remedy that Chairperson Matebula is proposing going to solve what the members have raised? And I think that's the question I'm still pondering. Honorable members, I would want to allow the members themselves to maybe deliberate and satisfy themselves whether this action proposed by Chairperson is adequate, without stepping on the toes of the Chairperson. I think I'd rather allow the members to then recommend the appropriate remedy if it's not satisfactory what Chairperson is proposing, and we'll hear from the members.
Honorable Mpiti.
Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, my main concern, Chair, I think is just for us to be able to do the work. How we do it, how we get about it, for me is less significant than it is for us to be able to get the answers that we require from our constituencies. And so, I trust the Chairperson, and I trust her decision to remedy an issue that we've raised about, particular commissioners not attending this meeting and not allowing us to do our jobs and not allowing us to be able to do proper oversight, not only for the importance of the country, but the importance of our constituencies as well. And so, raising that particular concern with the remedy that has been put forward by the chairperson, my trust and hope is that it will solve that particular problem that we have been experiencing as a committee, because we need to be able to understand what's happening in the Eastern Cape, what type of services are being provided to vulnerable women in those particular areas, in the rural areas. And so we are unable to do that when we do not have at least someone to be able to ask those questions from. So, Chair, my recommendation is to support the chairperson's input to consider the 3 months as she's recommended. But I do think that for the importance of the committee and the importance of the matters we've been raising in the past couple of months in regards to attendance of the said commissioner, it should be really minuted and clearly stated that this is a recurring problem that has been happening for a number of times. And it must be clearly stated that this particular commissioner has not been attending for quite a number of meetings. And I think if we put that together, that would be able to give us a clear vision. But I think in the main, let us focus on the work that we need to do as a committee, which is to provide oversight and to be able to ask the questions that our constituencies require of us. That's my recommendation, Chair. Thank you very much.
Honorable Carol. Carol. Honorable Piri. Is Honorable Piri in the meeting? Thank you very much, honorable members. Chair, let's give you a homework as the portfolio committee, that you assess the performance of your commissioners for the last financial year and the current financial year. And then we will take what we have committed, the undertaking that you have just said, and this in the meeting regarding the performance of the commissioners and the attendance of the commissioners. Will await for the report after today, maybe next year when you come to the portfolio committee. Yeah, I think it's next year. We'll see you next year, if I'm not mistaken. You'll give us the report. Let's move to, that's how I close this item of apologies. We are doing all this according to Rule 227, which empowers the committee to deal with any matter falling within our portfolio. It's not something that we're thumbsucking to ask about the performance of the commissioners. It's something that it's within the rules of empowerment that empowers us to monitor the performance of commissioners. Let's go to the next item. Nelisa, what is the next item?
The next item, Chair, is the letter from the Office of the Speaker with regards to the CALS matter. Thank you, Chair.
Over to you, Chair.
Once more, a very good morning, honorable members and honorable whip and honorable chair. With regards to the next agenda item, with actually talks about the CALS matter. Chair, I would like to provide the following detailed information to the portfolio committee. And this information that I'm providing, Chair, with your permission, is the response to the letter that was received from the portfolio committee asking the Commission for Gender Equality to outline how the portfolio committee has interfered with its work. This is the explanation provided, Chair. I think first and foremost, Chair, the Commission wants to clearly says that the Commission has never received a formal complaint against the portfolio committee from any commissioner, from all the commissioners present, against and using its internal processes, and in particular the commissioner in question. There hasn't been any formal complaint received before, Chair, to say that there is, through an internal process, we would like to formally lodge a complaint. And however, we are aware, or we've been made aware, that the commissioner in question did submit a letter of complaint to the Speaker's office. And we wish to state categorically that that letter that went to the Speaker's office, Chair, does not represent the aspirations and of the Commission. And the letter, Chair, which is allegedly submitted to the office of the Speaker, is the letter that represents a commissioner internally, and it's represented by the Center for Applied Legal Studies. The Commission is not represented, or has never been represented by the Center for Applied Legal Studies, which is in short CALS, for any legal opinion. So I want to say that we have never, as a Commission, approached CALS for any legal opinion or for any complaint as the Commission, but the allegation or the alleged letter that CALS has submitted to the office of the Speaker clearly represents Commissioner Day, and I've used the words carefully to say alleged, that the CALS letter represents Commissioner Day, as said in the letter to the Speaker, and as described as their client, not the entire Commission or commissioners, but their client. Then, Chair, what was also articulated in the response was that the Commission for Gender Equality, in the letter dated 25th of August, appears to be represented, or there was a letter that appears to represent a commissioner by CALS, and we know that this matter appeared, it actually became public, if I can put it that way, Chair, as a matter that also found itself going to the media, and the Commission for Gender Equality was unaware that the matter has also reached the media in terms of articulating what was articulated in the letter. So in essence, Chair, I want to say that the contents of the letter and the nature of the complaint thereof does not appear to represent CGE, and we want to also stress that we are not represented by CALS at any stage, but the letter alleges that the client is Commissioner Day. So the letter basically seeks to portray that the Commission for Gender Equality is represented by an individual and through CALS, and that's not the issue. And we wish to categorically again say that we want to distance ourselves from that kind of a letter that was submitted to the Speaker's office. And this is the response that we gave, Chair. And we know that as the Commission, we have a responsibility, and we know that as a Commission established in terms of Section 181 of the Constitution, supporting democracy and supporting constitutional democracy in South Africa, we have a duty and a mandate to promote gender equality. And if there are any matters with regards to the Portfolio Committee, as it also discharges its duties in terms of holding the Commission accountable, this would be the matter that we will communicate directly with the Portfolio Committee. But at this stage, Chair, there hasn't been any matters or complaints raised by the Commission in terms of how the Portfolio Committee is conducting or is discharging its duties, Chair. I want to pause there, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. So that is the position of CGE. Deputy Chair, is that your position? What the Chair is presenting now, it represents your position as CGE?
Correct, Chairperson. That is correct and true reflection of the organizational position.
Thank you very much, Deputy Chair and Chairperson. Honorable members, can I get hands from honorable members? Honorable Masiko, Honorable Sheriff, Honorable Ngobo, Honorable Mamsonti.
Thank you, Chair. And thank you to the Chairperson for providing that report to us. Chair, I'm not surprised because I too didn't find merit in the accusations of interference. As outlined in previous meetings, we know what our mandate is, and we do it without fear or favor. And as a section, as the CGE, it's important, to allow yourselves to be held accountable by Parliament, and that's what's important. And I've always, felt that the CGE has always been helpful in any regards that I have, especially sending cases to them. So when these accusations came out, it was a massive shock. Because I've always held the CGE in high esteem, so it's really good to hear that they have done a report on it and have.
Honorable Sheriff Babu Ngobo.
Thank you, Chairperson, and good morning, honorable members and commissioners from CGE. Chairperson, I've been covered by Honorable Sheriff. Thanks.
Honorable Masiko.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. I think as a portfolio committee, we must appreciate the manner in which the CGE has dealt with the matter. And for me, it should, Chairperson, speak to the manner in which commissioners attend to matters of concern. There is a number of issues that are raised in the letter that we have received. And one is just of the thought that some of these issues should have been dealt with by the Commission first, and foremost, if it is genuine concerns that have been raised in the letter that was sent to the Speaker. So it's just an appreciation, and for us as a portfolio committee chair, I think we should, with the portfolio committee, ought to be dealt with thoroughly in the correct platforms of CGE before we can even receive them as a portfolio committee.
Because also she stays